So I'm here today with Curtis Rector, who is founder and president of Arbor Homes. And he is joining us so we can dialogue a little bit about an initiative that we're taking together on the Near East Side. Curtis, before we begin talking about that initiative, would you take a moment and just share a little bit about Arbor Homes, where it started, where you've been developing, and what the business looks like for those who aren't familiar with the company?
Sure, love to. First of all, thanks for having me here. It's great to be in partnership with Shepherd. I founded Arbor Homes in 1994 with a focus on first-time home buyers, understanding that owning a home is part of the American dream. It builds equity. It helps in stabilizing families. And that has been our effort for the last 30 years. We just celebrated our 30th anniversary. We build all around the Indianapolis community, within Indianapolis and all the donut counties. We also have divisions in Louisville, Kentucky, Cincy, Dayton, Ohio, and Columbus, Ohio as well.
Cool. I know in your position and from your vantage point, you understand a lot about housing. Could you explain to us a little bit about what's happening and why there is a housing crisis?
Yeah, and it is acute, not only in Indianapolis, but across the country as well. We pay so many bills on property tax these days, and most municipalities look at the income they get from property tax and they go, hey, I can get more if we build more expensive housing. So they have regulations that they are putting in place to drive up the cost of housing. And then they want to put architectural standards on the house. So you have to add brick, maybe hardy plank siding, different gables or roof pitches, everything that is just to drive up the cost of the house and make it less affordable.
I believe that Arbor is trying to work against that system with the new Genesis series of homes.
That is correct. We started really a couple of years ago as we saw the problems we had in the community, the crisis we have in affordable housing. We stepped back and said, okay, what can we do to help drive down the cost to build a house? Still make it look good, but drive down the cost and make it more affordable. So we developed a new product line. It's called the Genesis line. We hope to build it in a different way, in a more production style, to lower the cost. It does have smaller square footage, and it can go on a smaller lot. So all of those things combined, trying to drive down the total cost of the home.
Can you tell us what the background was, where that meeting came from that we had a few months ago, and what has developed since that?
Yeah. My pastor, Rob Fuquay of St. Luke's United Methodist Church, who I've done a lot of work with over the years. We've done some habitat houses, and I know very well, and he knows my passion for affordable housing and how critical I think it is for our community. He called me one day and said, hey, I think you ought to come to breakfast with Jay Height and yourself. And so the four of us got together and we just talked about housing and the problem that we have, and you had access to a few lots, and it just came to be a good partnership. So we are now working on multiple lots to bring multiple houses that we can build together.
I know that there are a lot of other nonprofits you could be doing this with. Why Shepherd?
Well, one, I wasn't that familiar with Shepherd, quite frankly, but once I met with you all and Rob had explained what you guys were trying to do, and I looked at what you're doing, it was like, wow, this is pretty cool to invest in the Near East Side. And so I was impressed with you all's mission. And it certainly married up with what my passion is, affordable housing. And so that was a pretty darn good match right there. But then maybe the most critical things was, you guys asked. So we have had partnerships with other not-for-profits, and we've seen others out there, but it's usually when somebody comes and asks and says, hey, can we work on this together, that it comes together.
Well, it's very easy to see from our standpoint what we gain in the relationship. What it helps us be able to do is to realize certain dreams and hopes that we have for neighbors. But what does Arbor gain in this relationship?
Anytime we make a community better, we're gaining from that. We're invested in Indianapolis. I live in Indianapolis. I've raised my family here, and I want a great community. And so, anytime we can give back, we are blessed by that. I personally have been blessed beyond anything I could ever imagine. And I believe that God wants me to give back. And this is an opportunity for me and this company to give back.
Well, we appreciate that very much, and we're grateful to be on the receiving end of it, or at least be the conduit through which it passes to be a blessing to others. And that's certainly our heart's desire too. So Curtis, what are the specifics of this plan that we've come up with together?
Yeah, well, so for the first 5, the first one is actually a duplex, so 2 units attached together. We're pretty close on those variances. Again, once those come through, we hope we've got about 6-8 weeks before we can then get a permit and start digging the foundation, so hopefully by the end of the year. And then we have 3 scattered lots that we hope to start next year, hopefully in the spring, and we'd probably spread those out, maybe try and start one in March, one in May, one in July, something like that.
So in the next several months, we could be able to see 5 units available.
I would hope by the end of 25, we've completed 5 units. That would be the goal for the first year, and then 6 in 26.
So we're just really thankful that you're part of it, Curtis, and Arbor Homes. And we are really looking forward to what God is going to do in and through you and through each of us as we put our hands to the task.
Well, thanks. As I said, we're blessed to be able to be part of it. You guys are doing God's work on the ground, and we're just blessed and lucky to be part of that.